Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. I could look at the weekly chart. We did open clearly below the 109.44 channel bottom. At one point, we pushed above it, closed below it on the day. I can also look at the same formation on the weekly chart. We also closed below it on the day, 109.11. I'm going to use 109.44 as our upward pivot point because of the weekly chart element. The weekly chart is at 109.44. Let's continue with the upside. No real sell signal yet. We did close, right at or just above that 1% violation. So even though we did close below the 109.11 level on the weekly chart, it was inside the 1% zone. So, it's kind of like, let's see how the next day plays out. I wouldn't have gone short on that information, the settlement below 109.11. I also would be a little jittery staying long right now. That's the truth. But if we do happen to push, especially if we open today, not only above 109.11, but 109.44, yes, 115.24 is attainable. On the way up, we have these minor points. The first one is nothing more than Monday's high. Pushing above 110.95 is in itself a pivot point to the upside, 113.27, 14.54, etc. But it is this newly formed, descending 2-week channel top, really. It comes off the kind of the mid-March high area and also incorporates yesterday's low that can contain today's highs, 115.24, able to contain session strength. Now, if we do close, above 109.11, above 109.44, if we close above yesterday's 110.95 high, that is a sign of stability, despite the fact that 115.24 can contain daily buying pressures. But I like 115.24 as an indication of a good weekly low, I think, or at least a good low into later week. If we close above 115.24, 122.01 becomes our next 1 to 3 day objective. So, how do you play this? If we do close today back above 109.44, I see that as a real stabilizer. And if we close above 110.95, just a minor point, I also see that the fact that we will likely, I think, later in the week reach into the low 120s, this new horizontal channel top. But along the way, 115.24, at least for today, can contain today's highs because we're so far away from it. But if we were to push higher today and say settle in the 111, 113 region, this will become a minor intraday pivot point only for Thursday, for Wednesday, so forth and so on. So the point I'm really trying to make here is if we close today above 109.44, 122.01 is attainable by the end of the week, where we can place a weekly high and fall away again back into the 109 handle again, say by the end of next week. Long term, now as I said before, we have yet to, there is no long-term sell signal yet. That would indeed occur, sort of the final shoe to drop on Friday with a settlement at 108.35 or lower. And then I would expect the upper 70s within several months. But we're not there yet right now. This is just intra-week violations. 109.11 is an important area on the same exact chart. And I will say that there is no reason to discount the mid-130s as a 3 to 5 week upside objective. Now, of course, we want to see the market close Friday above 109.44 for that to all still be a realistic scenario. But until then, it is just sort of one day at a time. Let's cover the downside. That, if we close lower on the day, below the 108.35, 1% violation of the 109.11 formation on the weekly chart of 109.44, you can see it all here, then yes, 98.65 with present volatility, a quick 3 to 5 day target. We could bottom out here for the week, as I say, round back up by the end of next week, back into the 109 handle where presumably we could top out into May activity and continue south. As I say, closing Friday at 108.35 or lower does set up 78.54 as a 2 to 3 month target. And if over the next, I don't know, week or so, we close below 98.65, well, there's your upper 70s. We're now then talking more like 1 to 2 weeks if we close below 98.65. But I see this sort of 109.11, 109.44 down to 98.65 area as a pretty solid 3 to 5 day swing trade. I don't see the opportunity or the necessity yet to set a short expecting 98.65 over the next 3 to 5 days because we are so close to this channel bottom. And yes, if we do close today above 109.44, then I think the probability suggests the low 120s within possibly 3 to 5 days. So closing above 115.24 today should seal the deal within just a few days. 122.01 able to contain weekly highs. We can fall away from there for a week or two. And if we close above 122.01, then we're expecting what is still considered a realistic 3 to 5 week objective at 134.34. So I wish I could provide, but it's just the market is not providing that. The market is trading right at a key pivot point. And, this happens when there's a degree of it could go either way substantially from here. We are at a capitulation point, but we just haven't closed below it by the required degree. And truth be told, for longer-term sell signals of 2 to 3 months, I like to see the Friday settlement. So that requires patience. That requires sort of a what would be the right word? FOMO, the fear of missing out, which is very prevalent in the market, of course. If we begin to fall away from 109.44 over the next few days, and let's say, I don't know, approach the 98.65 descending channel bottom over the next few days, the desire to get short just because we're violating 109.11 by a more substantial degree is there. But really, I think it's worth waiting out before playing the short side. Wait for that settlement at 108.35 or lower on Friday. Now, you could do so during the week. Today, if we close below 108.35, if you'd like to set a short, I don't have a big problem with that. It's just make sure you set your stop loss at a reasonable point above the market so that it doesn't rob you of too much in the event the market just takes off. We've got the tariff, what is it? Is it announcement? I think that is the right word, on tomorrow. That is Wednesday. And so the market's jittery. Let's see where this all plays out. It might not be a great idea to take a substantial position ahead of Wednesday's presidential speech or commentary. I think I've actually said everything. I could mention one more little level. It's probably worth talking about. We've got 102.22 as an intraday support level. And if we open below 109.11, that would obviously also be below 109.44. Yes, this level is in reach today. If we close 108.35 or lower, we could see 98.65 within a few days. And as I say, if we then settle the week itself at 108.35 or lower, I'm then expecting 78.54 over the next 2 to 3 months. And as I just outlined earlier, there are scenarios where that could play out within perhaps 2 to 3 weeks. Is there anything else to say? I think I've covered it all. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. Take advantage of our 5-day free trial. You'll get 2 free stock picks during that time. You'll also see last week's stock picks, which are still very relevant. You'll also see our daily SPY and Triple Q analysis and our weekly Apple stock analysis, all for free because we offer 5 days upfront. Check us out and see what we have to offer at wickedstocks.com. I will be back, of course, tomorrow with Wednesday's NVIDIA, and you have a fantastic evening.